No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym.
Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
The doors are open and fans are filing into ExtraMile Arena. They're pumped up for this one. Boise State, a chance on the national stage to make a little bit of a statement here against San Diego State. National CBS broadcast, first regular season Boise State game on CBS in history, but we know you'll be watching the game with the sound turned down because you'll be listening to Abe Jackson and Bob Beeler on 670 KBOI. I think this one is also on the FM side, 95.3 FM. Abe Jackson joins me as we continue the pregame show here and start the pregame show. The Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. BJ Rains and Abe Jackson. Abe, crowd already filing in. There's already people finding their seats in the third deck. It wasn't that hard to wake up today. This is one of those fun days. It's going to be a fun morning and afternoon here.
Well, when the schedule comes out, there's always a handful of games at home that you kind of circle, and this has been one for probably ever since the Broncos have been in the Mountain West. And when San Diego State comes to town, it's going to be a battle because we've seen San Diego State as a top 5 team and the Broncos almost get a win. Then we saw a huge comeback last year when then San Diego State goes on to the national championship game. So there have been battles after battles against San Diego State and Boise State, and hopefully this is the same.
And as I mentioned, it's very close to a sellout, going to be the biggest crowd of the season to this point. What you've been in here for a lot of games. That San Diego State game last year comes to mind, but when this place is packed and it's rocking, it's one of the better venues in the Mountain West.
It is. I'd say it's up there in probably the top 3 in loudness when it really starts to get going. San Diego State can get loud. I think Pitt is by far. If anyone's been to the pit, they could probably agree with me that place could be one of the loudest in the country. But when Boise State gets this place packed, the fans are into the game, and it's a good game, the Broncos are on a run, man, there's not much better place to be.
When you've got the crowd behind you and it's a home game and it's a game that you really need to win, we saw in the UNLV game, Boise State kind of fell behind early and really struggled to kind of catch back up. Even last year against San Diego State, Boise State got behind early and was able to come back. But how do you, I don't know if it's nervous energy or what, but how do you as the home team in this atmosphere try to get off to a good start?
Well, it's not key because the Broncos showed they can come back, but it sure does help, especially at a home game where the crowd wants something to cheer about. They want to get behind you, making big plays, blocks, dunks, come out with a lead. So it helps. And against a team like San Diego State, who might be the best overall team that the Boise State Broncos see this year, there might have been some individual players that were better. Clemson has a couple of those guys. But as an overall team, I think San Diego State might be the best team they see.
Jaden Ledee, All-American candidate, certainly having a heck of a year.
He's a football player in basketball shorts. That's what he is. I mean, he's averaging 20 points, double-doubles almost every single day. He is a beast down low. If you think Omar Stanley has a nice build on him, Jaden Ledee looks like he could be a tight end in the NFL right now.
How do they slow him down today?
You have to make him work. I watched the game that they played against Nevada, and he just had free reign on the boards just about whenever he wanted it. He was stronger. He was more aggressive against the Wolfpack. The Broncos have to match the aggression, and you're not going to be able to get in a shoving match with him because he's too strong. You have to use leverage. You have to put your butt on the thighs or around the legs for a box out, take away his ability to go to the rim.
Brian Dutcher standing over there. You don't see that often from a head coach, just kind of soaking in the atmosphere right now, watching Boise State get some shots up. He's only 1-4 in this building as the head coach here. He has struggled when he's come before. What do you make of recently here in this building? Boise State has played pretty well against San Diego State.
They have. Well, I don't think there's a lot of Mountain West teams that have a very good record in this building, especially after last year with the Broncos getting all the wins. So 1-4 here. The Broncos aren't much better at San Diego State though either. I mean, when you're in the Mountain West, you have to hold court at home. The Broncos dropped one to UNLV, who I think is better than their record shows. I mean, they almost beat Colorado State on the road. Toward the end of that game, they had a lead. So, but this would be one to really get. You could put yourself at the top of the Mountain West with a win right now and put yourself in good position.
Yeah, no doubt. We saw last night down to the wire. Every night it seems like these are coming to the wire. And you had the game against UNLV, but you obviously just home court. I mean, if you have any visions of winning this league, you just can't drop 2 in a row at home.
No, 2 in a row at home would be tough. It's definitely not over if you do. I mean, people have been saying that the winner of this league is going to have 4 or 5 losses. I know Utah State's playing well, but they're going to go into some places and they're going to get 3, 4, maybe 5 losses. So a loss isn't going to be the end of the world, but if you can put yourself in a position to go 4-1 in league right now at this point in the season, and then you go to one of the worst teams in conference next week in Fresno State with a chance to get another win, that makes this win even more important.
That game last year here, though, Max Rice game going off for 28 points. I mean, that's a game that I'll never forget. They're down 6-8 points with like 7-8 minutes to go. Najee Smith hits a couple big threes. Max Rice kind of takes over. And then, who knows it at the time, but that's San Diego State's last loss until the national title game. How do you look back at last year's game?
Well, there's been memorable performances over 16 years of doing this. Derek Marks comes to mind when he had 30 against Colorado State, and I think was either perfect or one away from perfect from the floor. Chandler Hutchison had some big moments
44 points one year.
Chandler Hutchison had some big moments here. I remember when Ray J. Dennis went off against Utah State when he hit about 3 threes in 90 seconds to bring the Broncos back. But Max Rice's performance last year, where it was 12 or 13 points just on his own, steals, pull-up threes, layups, and ones, rebounds. It was a takeover in a small amount of time that you don't see very often on the college level, and it was in front of one of the biggest crowds and one of the most exciting games I can remember.
Abe Jackson, our guest for a couple more minutes here. You'll hear him and Bob Beeler coming up at 10:30 on 670 KBOI, also on 95.3 FM tonight as well. They'll have the game broadcast just after 11 o'clock. And Abe, against UNLV, what were your takeaways from that game? Boise State just I know the numbers were what they were, but it seemed like every loose ball, every tipped-out rebound just went to UNLV. They end up with 13 offensive rebounds. And then you watch San Diego State on Wednesday night get 20 offensive rebounds against Nevada. It seems pretty clear that keeping the Aztecs off the offensive glass might be the biggest factor in the game today.
Well, first, some thoughts about that UNLV game. I mean, there's so many games in a basketball season, right? You're not going to have your A or even B game every single time. And I think the Broncos They shot 40 or below 40% from the floor. So I'm going to say that might even be a C-plus game. Here's the thing. You get two guys who make some free throws, you're going to end up winning that game. If Degenhart and Stanley make their free throws, you're going to end up winning that game. 99% of that game would have been exactly the same, but the Broncos would have come out with a win. So I don't really feel like it was a bad loss because it was at home, of course, in the league. But when you play your C or C-minus game and you're still that close to getting a win, I think that means you're a very quality team. Now, if the Broncos show up tonight and play a C or C-minus, I think they're going to lose by double digits because San Diego State is, like I said, probably one of the best overall teams or the best that they're going to see this year. But I like how the Broncos respond. It's rare that we see a Bronco team put back-to-back-to-back bad games together. So I don't see them coming out being lethargic or anything. I think you're going to get a good performance from the Broncos today.
I think it's been 3 or 4 years since they've lost back-to-back games at home. But the rebounding, how key is that going to be? And as I mentioned, those 13 offensive rebounds for UNLV really led to, I think, 15 or 16 second-chance points. And then, as I said, 24 hours later, you see what Nevada got taken to them by San Diego State with 20 offensive rebounds. How do you keep them off the glass tonight?
Well, every single game, one of the keys for Coach Rice is rebounding. And that's even when you're playing against a not very good rebounding team. If you're playing against a team that's really good at it, it is going to be key all week long in preparation for this game. So I have no doubt the Broncos are going to have focused on it, and they're going to have to just get body contact. You cannot turn and just go to the hoop. They are too athletic, too strong in San Diego State. You have to create contact on your blockouts and then release and go get that ball.
Max Rice, it seems like the floaters and some of the shorter shots just aren't falling this year that have in the past. His shooting percentage from three is down a little bit as well. We mentioned the big game he had against them last year. Maybe that gives him a little extra juice, but they clearly, in my opinion, need Max Rice to make some shots.
You have to do that, and I think you have to get Rice involved a little bit more, and he's getting enough shots up. They're just not going down right now, which is what happens throughout the season. But what I'd like to see is get Abo involved. It seems like he has good first halves in a few games and then just kind of disappears in the second half. He had 14 points against UNLV in the first half and then only 3 shot attempts in the second half. A guy as good as Abo, jump shots, driving to the hoop now, you need to get the ball in his hand and get him enough shots, especially when he's hot in the first half. If you have 14 in the first half, you should end up with at least 20 if you're Abo.
And I'll say the opposite about Degenhart. He's been getting going in the second half. They need to get him going earlier.
Yeah, I think so too. And, it is kind of a nice little give and take if you got one guy hot one half and one guy hot the other half. But, they need to find a way to make it a little more consistent. But I don't know. The offense against UNLV, I would have just liked to see Abo get a little bit more involved and get some more shots up, especially because he was so hot in the first half.
All right, final thing, Abe. Your keys to the game here. What should fans be looking for and what listening to when they're hearing you guys on 670 KBOI?
Well, I think 2 things is, one, you have to handle Jaden Ledee. I mean, he's the front runner right now for Conference Player of the Year and All-American candidate with how well he's playing right now for San Diego State. And then 2, you have to handle the defensive pressure on the wing. Some of the best defenders in the Mountain West are for San Diego State. Parrish is long and lean and can get in passing lanes. And then the point guard, I don't know why I'm just spacing his name. No, Lamont Butler is probably one of the best on-ball defenders that the Broncos are going to see all year long. So handle the big guy inside, but then handle the pressure from their guards on the outside. And something about this San Diego State team, too, they can actually score a little bit this year.
Yeah.
They got Trammell who can light it up as a guard. Ledee's averaging 20. Butler can knock down some shots in the paint. Parrish can go off for 15 or 20. So they're going to have their hands full.
We're just getting going here on the pregame show. We're going to take a quick 90-second break. We got John Mallory going to join us. I think Mark Zeigler from the San Diego Union Tribune going to join us as well. We'll show you the warm-ups. We'll show you the atmosphere. We're getting closer. 42 minutes till tip-off. Don't go anywhere. We're getting you set for a big one at the X. We're back in 90 seconds. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. ridley'sfamilymarkets.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Back live here at ExtraMile Arena on the Lithia Ford of Boise. Pregame show. We're getting you set for Boise State and San Diego State. Super excited for this one. Crowd filing in. Crowd already up there in the third deck. It's going to be very, very close to a sellout, if not a sellout today. You see the Broncos on the court warming up. And we got John Mallory, 95.3 the ticket. We go from one sharpshooter to another, from Abe Jackson to John Mallory. Oh, yeah. Johnny, we appreciate you for stopping by for a few minutes. Host a Prater in the ball game. What are your thoughts, man? Big one here at the X.
This is the fun one, right? This is the game that Bronco Nation circles on the conference schedule when it comes out every year, BJ. Grown men basketball. I was just down there courtside watching San Diego State kind of go through its warm-up routine, and you're just like, okay, they look different than most Mountain West teams. They look, Power Five-ish, if you will, the football term there, BJ. And Boise State plays well against them, right?
Yep.
Leon Rice has had Dutcher's number over the last couple of seasons. These games have been outstanding. Last year was the game that everybody's been talking about all week. It's just the Max Rice game. And both programs need this today. BJ, you look at the separation, you look at the standings and kind of that upper class neighborhood, the top three teams.
Yeah.
The winner of this stays in that neighborhood. And the loser of that, BJ, drops down more middle class of this league, which you look at the standings. So it's big any way you slice it or dice it today. It's kind of weird. It's 10:20 a.m.
Dude,
what are we doing here, man?
I was driving down here at 8:30 in the morning, and it was just very odd having to set an alarm. And we know what you were doing, Johnny, a short time ago. You were getting donuts from Clark Kellogg. How was the donut from the Degenhart dozen?
Well, pastry perfection. Yeah, that's an easy sell, right? You just walk in that door and you smell it. Clark Kellogg getting a taste, literally, of the Tyson Degenhart dozen down there. And yeah, who says no to a chocolate sprinkled donut from Clark Kellogg? I'm not passing up on that opportunity, man.
Clark Kellogg sitting down here on the baseline, kind of soaking this all in. That adds to the excitement, I think, today. The national CBS broadcast, Johnny, a chance for Boise State on a national stage here to really make a statement.
Yeah, more eyeballs will probably be on this game than any other regular season home game that they've had, certainly in quite some time, if not ever, BJ. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun, too. With that, though, comes, the responsibility. This fan base is going to be right on top of the Aztecs from the opening tip. And you'd love it if Boise State can kind of grab that crowd, use it, and show up early, get a nice little lead, make some plays. Nothing's worse, BJ, than than 12,000, 10,000 folks all ready to party, and then the team comes out and doesn't give them any reason to celebrate, right? So hopefully that's not the case today, because, we've been in this arena multiple times when it's been as festive and it feels like March and all that stuff is on the table today for me. Boise State's got to show up, and I think they will.
Here's John. He's John Mallory. You can hear him in Prater weekdays 3 to 6 on Sports Radio, The Ticket, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. Here for a couple minutes, joining us on the Lithia Ford Boise pregame show. What do you make of the bench? There's been a lot of talk the last couple of days. 2 points against UNLV from the bench. Does Leon just stay as course and ride his big dogs today, or do you think he makes an effort to try to get some of those guys in the game?
I was going to ask you, if I set the minutes at 21 total bench minutes today, do you think it's over or under? You figure 10, 11 from Cam Martin, I don't know, 10 to 15 from Andrew Meadow, and then Jace Whiting, San Diego State.
I think Jace Whiting's over under.
I think Jace Whiting is going to dictate Jace Whiting's minutes, right? If he goes out there the first time, because you have to play Jace. You need 2 point guards to be able to play here, Leon. But if Jace struggles, you remember last year against San Diego State, and hopefully Jace can get into a rhythm. I think Jace Whiting can help this team. So that's kind of the argument. Does Leon leave them in enough to help, even though it may hurt initially? And it's like Leon doesn't want that initial hurt, BJ, to let the bench get a rhythm. And maybe that's why you schedule differently in the non-con. There's so many ways to skin that cat, BJ. I mean, a lot of times you play a weak team. Okay, great. RJ Keene gets to play 29 minutes that night. That helps him prepare for this today. Now, RJ Keene hasn't played in 3-4 games. A guy like that, I wouldn't expect him to play, right? The bench, you thought it was going to be better. The coaches thought it would be better. It hasn't been better as of late, but who knows, man? Andrew Meadow and Cam Martin, we've seen them. They can make a difference, BJ. We'll see if they get the minutes that allows them to make a difference. We'll see, man.
Well, speaking of making a difference, we know Max Rice can certainly make a difference. Is this the game he gets hot? Is this the Max Rice game 2 years in a row?
That would be something, but I can't sit here and say, Max is going to drop 30, right? That's essentially what he did against San Diego State. Max needs to be efficient. He needs to shoot better. If you look at Max, everything else he does on the box score you like, but you hate the way he's been shooting, right? He's not a heavy turnover machine. He played 38 minutes last game or something. He had 2 turnovers. You'll take that, BJ. And he always will get a couple of assists as well. But you just need him to shoot better. Now, is he playing too many minutes and he's shooting poorly because of fatigue? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe Max would be more efficient. I'm not talking drastically cut his minutes, but instead of playing 38 minutes, can he play 31 minutes? Can those 7 minutes, BJ, be allocated to whoever Leon wants to? I would think an Andrew Meadow. I mean, that doesn't feel like a lot. If Max and Tyson and Buzo and all these guys, BJ, playing 35, 36 minutes, if you get that down to 30, 31 minutes, maybe it makes a difference. However, Leon doesn't want to take that risk because a lot of times he does try, BJ, and all of a sudden they play differently. He has to take them out. I get it.
We got Sean checking in from Section 28 up there. Sean, we appreciate you for watching, man. Thanks for checking us out. Johnny, I mentioned it. We've been here for a lot of big games, man. The fans already filling in the third deck here. The crowd here early. CBS is firing them up. This could be one of those special afternoons here.
It can. I mean, like I was telling Clark Kellogg down there, there's a name drop. Clark, it's going to feel like March today. I said that to him. And he's like, well, okay, yeah, really? I was like, yeah, it's going to feel like March. And I don't know if Clark Kellogg has been in an arena yet to this point. I mean, let's be honest. You're not going to go to Lawrence, Kansas, and Fog Allen Fieldhouse and ever say it feels like March in January. You guys know what March is. This town, this fan base, a game like this arena, they don't have as many opportunities. It's going to feel like March today, BJ. And if Boise State plays well, like you said, if Max can somewhat try to duplicate what he did last year against this team, that's going to be insane as well. And yes, the court with a win gets stormed and all these kids have fun for 7 to 10 minutes there, and they beat San Diego State again.
Final thoughts, man. We got Section 30 checking in as well. Appreciate you, Kurt Fuller. Always love getting the shout-outs to folks up there. Thanks, Kurt, for watching. Johnny, we're going to bring in Mark Zeigler, San Diego Union Tribune here shortly, but your final thoughts on this one, man.
Absolutely. For Boise State to win, keep San Diego State down. San Diego State will score less than 60 often. A lot of times they can still win that way, but for me, defensively, and Boise State plays good D. If they get back on the glass, this is a lower scoring game. Boise State can use the crowd, uplifting environment for them, and you know what? That's how Boise State wins. If San Diego State just does what it does and plays well, I think they probably win today. I think San Diego State is the better basketball team today, but I've seen a lot of teams that I thought were the better basketball team come into this environment, BJ, and not play well and lose. And I think that's in play today, too. It's going to be terrific.
By the way, Spencer Danielson, the whole football coaching staff, some big-time recruits for junior day, all going to be in the house today as well. So
I think I saw Taylor Tharp earlier at quarterback.
This is going to be a who's who today. We'll see, Matt. You know our guy Matt Boucher. This is a who's who. This is a who's who today for Boise State basketball. Appreciate it, Johnny. We're going to take a quick 90-second timeout. Mark Zeigler, San Diego Union Tribune, will join us next. The teams are back in the locker room. We'll show you when they come out. Get your score predictions in, your final thoughts, all your thoughts of what you think about this one. We're about 30 minutes till tip-off. We'll get the San Diego State perspective. We'll show you the teams coming back out for warm-ups. Having fun here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We're back in 90 seconds. Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at TacoBellWorks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com. Rolling right along. Scoot in here a little more, Mark. We're rolling along here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We got Mark Zeigler. San Diego Union Tribune does an outstanding job covering the Mountain West, covering San Diego State. You and Jeff Graham are kind of in the elite level, and all of us are just trying to get in the conversation. But you had some delays, but you made it to Boise. You're here.
I did. I love it here. You know what? I like this arena. It's kind of old school with the balconies.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare anything to the old Boston Garden, but still got a little bit of that feel to it.
Yeah.
The fans are right on top of you, sold out crowd.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun atmosphere. You've been to several games in this building. Last year, San Diego State had the lead. Max Rice came back and went off, and Boise State got the win. And that ended up being San Diego State's last loss until the title game. But you've seen some pretty good games and festive atmospheres in here.
I was just talking to Brian Dutcher, San Diego State's coach, about this, how these games, they do all this scouting and all this prep, and you're going to do this, going to do that, and then it just comes down to the final minute. And 2 years before that, it was Matt Bradley missed a free throw, and there was kind of an iffy call.
Yep.
Going back a few years before that, you had Dwayne Polee hitting a 3-pointer in here at the buzzer. I mean, Jamal Franklin one year hit a huge 3 to win a game. These games are always close, and they're always just battles, and so it's kind of like you just throw everything out. I mean, I'll keep notes the whole game, but pretty much the last minute.
Yeah, you got a little more time than usual today too to write your story, but
well, not really. I'm gonna be on a 3:00 flight.
So. No overtime. No overtime.
Yeah,
Is the team on that flight too?
I think they're at 4.
Oh, okay.
3:30. They're going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, that is a nice to get back tonight. Quick turnaround. Speaking of quick turnaround, tell us about San Diego State's prep or lack thereof, because they obviously had to play a late game on Wednesday and then turn around and fly here yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, it's one of the quirks in the scheduling. The Mountain West actually tries to keep all the teams with equal rest when they play each other. And that's the way the initial schedule comes out. But once TV starts to select its games, it gets thrown out the window. And so San Diego State ends up on all these Saturday games, and other teams are either playing on a Tuesday or they're playing on a Friday, and their next game is – so they basically played their game late Wednesday night, came back into their practice facility the next morning, worked out, but they really didn't work out. They just kind of stood there, sat in chairs, and watched the scout team run through some stuff.
Yeah.
Had a abbreviated practice yesterday, and then went to the airport, got on the flight, and came up here and had no shoot around today. So they're they're a prep heavy program, and they really had about 2 practices less than they normally would.
I got here at 8:45 this morning, and Boise State was out there walking through some stuff at 8:45. So that was something they're not used to doing either, having to switch up the schedule. And this is the 3rd Saturday in a row, though, that San Diego State's been on CBS. This is the first regular season game on CBS in Boise State history. Just where is San Diego State at right now? We saw them lose at New Mexico last week, came back with a really dominant win. I thought holding off Nevada there late after they made a comeback, but we saw what they did on the offensive glass. What's kind of the state of the the Aztecs right now?
We'll see how they go today. I mean, if they think they win today, they're in really good shape. They're 5-1, a third of the way through. They've got a couple of their toughest road games out of the way, but they're playing very good basketball ever since middle of December. They were kind of shaky earlier in the season. And they're playing a lot better, but I just don't know if they've kind of played well enough to get over that hump. And we'll find out today. I mean, they've winning on the road in this conference is just brutal. You got to try to steal a couple and hold serve at home. They've held serve at home easily, but I just don't know if they're quite good enough to win in a place like this. We'll see.
I saw you shaking hands with Randy McCall. You're into the referees like I am. Randy McCall, Eric Curry, Jerry Pollard. Any history with San Diego State there?
Oh, yeah. Not with Randy and Eric so much, but Jerry Pollard last year had their game against New Mexico, their only home loss. And that game turned with about 6 minutes to go. It was a tight game. Nathan Mensah picks up a foul, which was kind of a questionable foul. Jerry Pollard had not officiated them in a long time. Did not know Nathan Mensah and that he can switch the 1-5 ball screen and get his feet in the way, and he called the block. It's really kind of questionable. And Nathan reacted, but it wasn't like he overreacted. And Jerry Pollard was really quick with the tee, and that was his 5th foul and threw him out. And that was the game. And it was really unfortunate. I think if he had reffed Nathan Mensah a few times and knew what a mild-mannered kid he is, he's not quote-unquote Jalen House.
Sure.
That wouldn't have happened. At least the tee wouldn't have happened. And it might have been a different game. So there is a little bit of history there. It'll be interesting to see how he does today.
Well, I think Boise State fans would tell you Randy McCall still owes him a few for the Super Bowl Sunday gaff. I thought they had him at San Jose a couple of weeks ago, and he called a technical on the San Jose State coach Tim Miles at the end of the game on a key block that went Boise State's way. So I thought he started to even it up a little bit, but I'm sure that they would love a few more today. But this Mountain West, you mentioned how hard it was. How do you kind of see the tiers here? I mean, is it going to be all 6 to the end? Is it going to break off at 3 or 4 somewhere? I'm still 100% not sold on Utah State myself, and I'm not sold on Nevada either. I know the home wins. When you get a team at home or road is going to matter. I'm not 100% sold on New Mexico. I want to see them have to go to play some of these road venues as well. But where are you in terms of the hierarchy here of the league?
The way I look at it is I think there's an upper 7 and a lower 4.
Okay.
And the way it's going to work is if you're in the upper 7, you cannot lose to any of the lower 4. Now, San Diego State only plays 6 games against them because in the unbalanced schedule, they don't play Air Force at home and they don't play at Wyoming. So you got to go undefeated in that quadrant, and then you got to win your home games, and then it's who can win on the road. So for every time you steal one you lose one at home, you got to go steal one on the road and stay even. So Boise technically is even right now. They stole one on the road, they lost one at home. They're one of the top 7.
Yep.
San Diego State has not stolen one on the road, but they haven't lost at home, so they're even too. And that's the way I look at it. And it's going to go that way all the way to the end. I also think what's going to happen is you're going to have this glut of teams at the top. They're all going to be 13-5, 12-6, because everyone's going to win at home. And unless someone breaks away, but I don't think someone will. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to look at this and go, wait, they play an unbalanced schedule. It's hard to separate them, even if there's a 1 game between them.
Yeah.
Let's go to the non-conference resumes. And I think that's where a team like San Diego State might have a little bit of an advantage. And maybe Boise does too if they can get into that mix there because they played a tough schedule. And a program like New Mexico might get hurt because they played nobody. And they played 1 game in the non-conference that was of any quality, and they lost it. So I think that's what's going to end up happening because I don't think they're going to take 6 or 7 teams for the Mountain West.
No.
But maybe they'll take 4 and 2 are going to get left out, and I think it'll come down to the resumes.
When San Diego State, the rare times they've struggled, what have they struggled with?
Well, their biggest problem is they play really good basketball, and they go through these stretches where they just kind of disappear offensively. And I think every team in the country probably does that, but it really hurts them. They had a stretch in the second half, first 10 minutes of the second half against Nevada, where they just fell asleep after being absolutely dominant in the first half. Same thing happened in New Mexico last week. They were up 12, 14 minutes into the game, and it looked like they were going to blow them out of the gym. And all of a sudden, New Mexico's on a 17-0 run, and it's a different game.
Yeah.
And so that's their biggest thing. They just kind of hit these scoring droughts, and a lot of it comes down to the whistle, because the way they get out of their droughts is they get the ball to D and have him drive and hope he gets fouled and get to the line and get some free throws. If he's not getting those calls, if they're letting that stuff go, which was the case last week at New Mexico, was not the case the game before or after. If they let that stuff go, they're in trouble, because I don't think they can generate enough offense sometimes. A couple guys are in slumps, and we'll see if they get out of them. Reese Waters has not been playing great, and then played a great second half. He's been hurt. He's had a sprained ankle. He's still not 100%. Darren Trammell and Lamont Butler have been up and down. They have not both played well in the same game all year. And Elijah Saunders, starting four-man, has really tapered off. So if they get a couple guys going, they'll be fine, but they don't have enough guys going right now to sustain over 40 minutes.
Well, we appreciate the time, Mark. Should be fun today. Safe travels back tonight to San Diego. That'll be they return the favor. I know last year it was senior night here in Boise against San Diego State. Next year, now Boise State has to come back on senior night there in San Diego. So hopefully for both teams, there's still a lot on the line that night, and we'll see. But a lot on the line today, and should be fun, Mark. We appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Make sure you check out Mark Zeigler and his work, San Diego Union Tribune. He does an outstanding job. We appreciate him for joining us here on Bronco Nation News. We're having fun. We're rolling along. We got the team out there for warm-ups. We got live action going on. We got Mike Prater even sitting on press row. I mean, how about that? We got a lot going on here today, and we're looking forward to a fun atmosphere here at ExtraMile Arena. We got to thank all of our sponsors, thank all of our subscribers, and we got a giveaway to do. I'm going to get the giveaway ready here while you guys are watching warm-ups. We're going to give away some stuff as I get my email set here. We're going to get our giveaways. We got to give away some stuff. Get your final score predictions in. We don't forget to go to the James Kitchen and Bar, a perfect spot. The James Kitchen and Bar for post-game. You want to go have lunch, have some drinks, let the traffic die down, hopefully celebrate a big win for Boise State. We'll head on over to the James Kitchen and Bar, and we've got a few gift cards to give away for that. I don't see the email. I'm trying to find it from Jaden. I apologize, guys. I may have to do this on the post-game. I'm not seeing the email from Jaden here, so I apologize. We'll do it on the post-game. I don't see it, and I apologize. We'll do the giveaway on the post-game show, hopefully after a Boise State win. We got the Jenkins family in the house. Joey Jenkins. You better bring it today, Joey. You better bring it. Joey Jenkins, Lauren Jenkins, the whole Jenkins family in the house. Crowd filing in. This is going to be a lot of fun here, folks. We're about 18 minutes from tip-off. Jerry Pollard, Eric Curry, Randy McCall, our officials have all taken the floor, and should be a fun one. Veteran officiating crew, big game, national CBS, a lot on the line. Super excited to see the atmosphere here at ExtraMile Arena. We got some score predictions coming in. Jason's got 73-70. Bill's got 60-57. Chase has a low-scoring game, 52-48. Jan Jumpin has 64-60. Jason also throwing in a Packers win tonight. Ryan says must win for Boise. Next game at San Diego will be more of a challenge. I agree with that. Morales Brothers had a good chance seeing them. Had a good time last night seeing them over at the Blue Collar Club event. Thanks to Stein Distributing for hosting. Thanks to the Blue Collar Club. Thanks to David Moats for speaking to them. And you got Clark. They have a Clark Kellogg Fathead, and they got a signature on it. That's pretty cool. So, hey, Bronco Brew Coffee. Don't forget, check them out. Bronco Brew Coffee. BroncoBrew.coffee is the website. Check them out. And appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. And, again, helping NIL, helping Boise State with every sip. Roasted to order coffee. Check them out. You'll not be disappointed. BroncoBrew.coffee. And I saw our man from Lean Feast as well, Dave. Lean Feast, check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Healthy eating. Apparently, Mike Burns has been on the Lean Feast. He is down several pounds, and I found out it is Lean Feast that's helping him in the basketball team. So check them out, LeanFeastMeridian.com, healthy eating. And again, after the game, I highly recommend heading over to the James Kitchen and Bar for your post-game meal. I apologize for the giveaway. I can't get the email to go through, so we'll have to do that on the. Oh, Jaden says he just sent it. I'm going to do it on the postgame show when we have a little more time. I just got it. I don't know why it didn't come through earlier, but we'll do it on the postgame show when we have more time. Come on back. We'll have a bigger viewership. Celebrate the win, hopefully for Boise State, and we'll give away the grill and some other cool items for Boise State. We got to get off here. 15 minutes till tip-off. Those are the rules. Mountain West rules. We got to be off 15 minutes prior to tip-off, and we're at 16 minutes here. So the crowd is filing in. It's going to be fun. Going to be an awesome one here. Top of the hour on CBS. Enjoy the game, everybody. We appreciate you for checking out the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. The Cutwater Studios, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. We appreciate Cutwater Studios. And I see Jim Sturk, our man Jim Sturk from Lithia Ford, walking in right now. Barry from the James. We were just telling you about the James. You need to check them out. He's coming in front of your screen right now. Here comes Jim Sturk, our man. He's probably sitting courtside here from Lithia. And there's Jim right there. All of our great sponsors. We appreciate all of them. And we appreciate all of you guys. Enjoy the game. Should be a fun one. And join us about 30 minutes after the game on the postgame. It's hopefully going to be a fun, long postgame if Boise State's able to get a win. Come join us after the game on the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show from Bronco Nation News. So thank you, guys. Enjoy the game. Should be fun. Tip off in about 15 minutes over on CBS, and we'll talk to you on the postgame show. If you need to kill 15 minutes, go read my pregame story at BroncoNationNews.com. BroncoNationNews.com. You can read our pregame coverage, and we'll get you set for tip-off. Coming here in about 15 minutes, there's Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter in the crowd tonight. It's a who's who today. Everybody's here for this one. There's Dirk Cutter. We got all kinds of folks as the crowd files in. This is going to be fun, folks. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you after the game. BroncoNationNews.com, Bronco Nation News Live. Thanks again, Lithia Ford of Boise. Here comes Dirk Cutter in front of you. Crowd filing in. The music's turning up. This is going to be a lot of fun, folks. We'll talk to you on the postgame show. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.